The world remembers him as a man with wild hair, a gentle smile, and eyes that seem to see beyond the fabric of reality itself. But before Albert Einstein became a name written in every textbook, he was just a quiet boy who stared too long at the sky, wondering why light traveled the way it did. He was not a prodigy by the standards of his time. Teachers called him slow, distracted, even hopeless. Yet, inside that silence, there was a storm of questions. Questions no one around him could answer. He was born in Ulm, Germany, in 1879, into a modest family that ran a small electrical business. His father, Hermann, and his mother, Pauline, were ordinary people, unaware that their son's curiosity would one day reshape the universe itself. As a child, Albert was fascinated by invisible forces. When his father showed him a simple compass, he could not understand how the needle knew where to point. That invisible magnetic field was the first mystery that caught his mind. And from that moment, he never stopped chasing the unseen. He did not speak fluently until he was 4. He was solitary, preferring to think rather than play. The world moved around him, but he was always somewhere else. In his thoughts, in equations that did not yet exist at school. The rigid discipline of the German education system clashed with his imagination. He refused to memorize what he did not understand. Teachers mistook this for rebellion. But it was something deeper. He wanted to know why. Why the sky was blue. Why light bent through glass. Why time felt different when one waited versus when one acted. His curiosity had no limits. When he was 15, his family moved to Italy, leaving him temporarily in Munich to finish school. But Einstein, frustrated by the oppressive environment, left on his own, crossing borders without a diploma. He eventually found his way to Switzerland, where he would study physics at the Polytechnic in Zurich. Even there, his professors found him odd. He questioned too much, thought too freely. He would skip lectures and spend hours alone, reading Maxwell and Newton, searching for flaws in their logic. His notebooks were full of strange sketches, light beams, clocks, trains, all dancing in impossible ways. After graduation, he could not find an academic job. Nobody wanted a rebellious thinker. So, he took a position at the Swiss Patent Office in Bern, examining applications for new inventions. It was tedious work, but it left his mind free. And in that small office, between stacks of documents and the hum of machines, the universe began to reveal itself to him. The year 1905 would later be called Einstein's Annus Mirabilis, his miracle year. He was only 26. Yet within a few months, he published 4 papers that changed physics forever. The first explained the photoelectric effect, showing that light could behave not only as a wave but as a stream of particles, what we now call photons. The second proved the existence of atoms and molecules through the motion of tiny particles in liquid, Brownian motion. The third introduced his special theory of relativity, revealing that time and space were not absolute but intertwined, and that the faster an object moved, the slower time passed for it. The fourth gave the world the most famous equation ever written, E equals mc squared, showing that energy and mass were 2 faces of the same coin. In that moment, the universe changed shape. The young man in the patent office had rewritten reality. Time and space were no longer fixed. They bent, stretched, and moved together like a cosmic fabric. But Einstein himself was calm. He did not seek fame. He cared only for truth. The scientific world, however, could not ignore him any longer. His papers spread like fire among physicists. Some resisted, calling his ideas absurd, while others recognized their genius. Slowly, he became known as the man who redefined what it meant to understand the cosmos. Fame found him, even though he had never chased it. He moved on, he said. I would have become a watchmaker. His heart belonged to humanity, not to power. In his later years, he became a symbol of wisdom, simplicity, and moral courage. His hair grew wilder, his clothes looser, his speech softer. He laughed often, but his eyes carried the sadness of a man who had seen too much. He received countless awards but refused to attend ceremonies. He declined the presidency of Israel when it was offered to him, saying he had no talent for people, only for equations. Yet, his greatest equation was life itself, a balance between curiosity and compassion. He believed that imagination was more important than knowledge because imagination embraced everything that could ever be known. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein died quietly in Princeton Hospital. His last words, spoken in German, were lost forever because the nurse did not understand them. Perhaps it was better that way. His entire life had already been a message to humanity that wonder is infinite, that truth demands courage, and that the universe is far more mysterious than we can ever imagine. Even after his death, his brain was taken and studied, as if the secret of genius could be found in its folds. But what made Einstein special was not just the structure of his mind. It was the freedom of his thought. He dared to imagine reality differently. He broke the walls between time and space, between science and philosophy, between man and the cosmos. He taught us that everything is connected, that the simplest question, a compass needle moving, a beam of light traveling, could open the door to infinity. And so, the boy who once stared at the sky gave the world a new way to look at it. His equations became the language of the stars, the foundation of black holes, GPS systems, and the expanding universe itself. Time no longer stood still. It flowed, curved, and danced, just as he had dreamed in the quiet of the patent office. The image of Einstein endures not because of fame, but because of faith, the faith that one person's curiosity can change everything. He showed that knowledge without imagination is blind, and imagination without knowledge is empty. The light he followed as a child never went out. It only grew brighter, spreading across generations, guiding us through the darkness of ignorance. And somewhere, in the endless silence of the cosmos he once tried to understand, perhaps his spirit still wonders, still asks, why? Quote, Einstein, the legacy of a mind that bent the universe. Long after Albert Einstein's death, his ideas continued to ripple through the fabric of time, like waves expanding from a single spark in the dark. He had changed the way humanity measured space, time, and energy. But the true power of his mind was not confined to equations or theories. It lived in the way he made people think. The 20th century became the age of Einstein, an era where physics was no longer just about measuring motion or predicting planets. It became a language for understanding the universe itself. And he had written its grammar. His general theory of relativity did more than describe gravity. It opened the door to the cosmos. Before Einstein, space was thought to be empty, silent, infinite but static. After Einstein, it was alive, stretching, bending, breathing. His equations predicted phenomena so strange that even he doubted they could exist. Black holes, Gravitational waves. The bending of light around massive bodies. For decades, these predictions remained unseen, like whispers of an impossible truth. Yet, as technology advanced, the universe began to reveal its secrets, proving him right again and again. The first confirmation came when astronomers observed the bending of starlight during the 1919 eclipse. But the story did not end there. In the 1960s, scientists discovered quasars, distant beacons of unimaginable power, powered by what could only be black holes. The mathematical monsters that Einstein's equations had quietly hinted at were real. And in 2015, a century after general relativity was born, humanity heard the universe itself for the first time. Gravitational waves, ripples in spacetime, were detected by LIGO, confirming yet another of his dreams. The faint tremor of two black holes colliding echoed across a billion years, reaching Earth like a cosmic heartbeat. Somewhere, if minds could smile beyond death, Einstein would have smiled then. But his influence was not limited to the stars. Down on Earth, his ideas reshaped every corner of science and technology. The strange link between energy and mass, E equals mc squared, became the foundation of nuclear power, both its promise and its curse. From the blinding light of Hiroshima to the silent hum of nuclear reactors, his equation bridged the smallest particle and the largest catastrophe. He had revealed the potential locked inside matter itself. But he never intended it to be weaponized. He saw science as a path to understanding, not destruction. That conflict between knowledge and morality haunted him to the end of his life. Yet, despite his guilt, his discoveries became the backbone of modern physics. Relativity made GPS possible, allowing satellites to correct time distortions caused by the speed of their orbit. Without Einstein, our phones could not tell us where we stand on Earth. Without his mathematics, astronomers could not map galaxies or understand the birth of the universe. Every time we look at the stars through telescopes like Hubble or James Webb, we are using Einstein's mind as our lens. His theory explained the expansion of the universe, though he himself once doubted it. When his equations first predicted that space itself could stretch, he introduced a term, the cosmological constant, to force it into stillness. Later, when Edwin Hubble discovered that galaxies were indeed moving apart, Einstein called his earlier correction his greatest blunder. But that so-called mistake returned decades later as dark energy, the mysterious force driving cosmic acceleration. Even his errors turned out to be ahead of their time. The irony was that Einstein never fully accepted the randomness of quantum mechanics, which was rising during his lifetime. He admired its precision but distrusted its philosophy. Quantum theory claimed that the universe, at its smallest level, was ruled by probability. To Einstein, that was chaos disguised as science. He famously wrote to Niels Bohr, "God does not play dice with the universe." Bohr replied, "Stop telling God what to do." Their debates became legendary. Two giants wrestling not over equations but over the meaning of reality itself. To Einstein, the world had to be rational, coherent, elegant. To Bohr, it was uncertain and strange. Both were right in their own way. Einstein's relativity ruled the cosmic scale. Quantum mechanics ruled the microscopic. And between those two worlds, modern physics has been searching ever since for the bridge, a theory of everything. In that search, Einstein remains a ghostly presence, the philosopher-scientist who refused to settle for incomplete answers. His quest for unity. One equation to explain all forces. has inspired generations of thinkers, from string theory to quantum gravity, from cosmology to the multiverse. Scientists still chase the dream he could not finish. In that sense, Einstein never truly died. His curiosity continues to evolve through the minds he awakened. But Einstein's impact went beyond the laboratory. He changed how humanity thought about itself. His view of the universe was not mechanical but relational. Everything affecting everything else. He showed that observers were part of reality, not separate from it. That idea reshaped philosophy, art, even religion. Too many. Einstein became a symbol of harmony between science and spirit. He often said he believed in Spinoza's God, a God revealed in the laws of nature, not in miracles or human form. To him, the universe itself was sacred, a grand order waiting to be understood. This quiet reverence made him both a scientist and a mystic, a rational mind touched by awe. He once said, "The most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It is the source of all true art and science." Those words still echo in classrooms, in observatories, in the silent moments when people look up at the night sky. For Einstein, knowledge without wonder was meaningless. He saw imagination as humanity's highest power, the force that drives both science and compassion. That belief guided his moral life. He spoke against racism, militarism, and greed. He supported civil rights leaders, from W.E.B. Du Bois to Paul Robeson, and publicly denounced segregation in America. In letters, he warned that blind obedience to authority was humanity's greatest danger. His voice, gentle but firm, became a moral compass in an age of turmoil. Though he had left Germany to escape fascism, he never turned away from the world's suffering. He refused wealth and fame, living simply, walking daily to his office at Princeton with papers tucked under his arm. Reporters would wait outside his house for quotes, and children would send him letters asking if light had wait, if time could stop. He answered many of them, always with patience. He believed education should never kill curiosity. When asked how to raise intelligent children, he said, "If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales." Beneath the physicist was a poet who never lost the child inside him. And perhaps that was his true genius. The ability to keep asking simple questions with a mind unburdened by ego. As the decades passed, his image transformed into myth. His face became the symbol of genius, printed on posters, coffee mugs, and t-shirts. Yet, the real Einstein was far more human. Playful, forgetful, sometimes melancholic. He loved sailing but never learned to swim. He forgot appointments but remembered the stars. He played the violin passionately. Saying it helped him think. Music, he said, was a reflection of the harmony he sought in physics. In his later years, he watched the world move faster. Technology racing ahead of wisdom. The same science that had revealed the atom now threatened to destroy civilization. He warned against the worship of progress without conscience. "It has become appallingly obvious," he wrote, "that our technology has exceeded our humanity. Those words feel even truer today." Yet, he never lost hope. He believed that compassion was the only force strong enough to balance knowledge. He said, "Only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile." His eyes, though tired, still carried that belief when he spoke to young scientists and students who came to visit him. He told them not to be heroes of fame but servants of truth. When he died in 1955, His ashes were scattered in secret, as he had wished. No monument marks his grave, because his monument is the sky itself. The stars bending, time flowing, the universe expanding. His theories became the backbone of cosmology. From the Big Bang model to the study of dark matter, everything we know about the cosmos rests on the foundation he built. Even our search for life beyond Earth, our dreams of interstellar travel, are guided by the curvature of space-time he once described. His fingerprints are everywhere. In physics, in philosophy, in the way we measure reality. He taught us that time is not a straight line but a tapestry, woven from perception and motion. He showed that space is not emptiness but structure, alive with energy. He made the invisible visible. In the 21st century, new telescopes peer into the early universe, confirming more of his predictions. Gravitational lenses magnify distant galaxies. Black holes sing through gravitational waves. And quantum physicists still wrestle with the paradoxes he left behind. Every discovery brings us closer to the edge of his vision. Yet the mystery deepens. Perhaps that is the final gift of Einstein. Not certainty, but wonder. He gave humanity permission to question everything, even the very fabric of existence. His life reminds us that genius is not about having all the answers, but daring to ask the questions that no one else will. The light he followed still travels across the cosmos, its journey endless, its purpose eternal. And so, in every beam of light, in every curve of space, in every moment where curiosity defies fear, Einstein lives on, not as a memory, but as a force, a vibration in the heart of creation. The world will never see time and space the same way again, because one man refused to stop imagining. The child who once stared at a compass needle changed the direction of humanity itself. Forever.